I'm humbled, man. This is, I'm truly honored to be partnering with all of you, to be a part of this organization. Thank you, Jamie and Leanne, for this opportunity. This is an MGA, an organization, an IMO, built by agents, owned by agents, for agents. It's the only one of its kind in North America that I'm aware of that does that, and I'm so proud to be here. What we do isn't rocket science. It's a relatively easy thing to do. Even Frank DeLeo, a forklift operator from Costco, can be a $600,000 a year earner in this business, right? I love you, brother. I love you. He is elite, and in a minute I'm going to talk to you about the elite. How can you become elite? Where are my slides? Cool. So, what I want to talk to you today is about the experience that Experior Financial has as an opportunity for us to consumers. We have an opportunity to share and transform the lives of individuals, whether it's consumers, as we help them through their financial needs, or as individuals building a business like all of you. Today, what I'm going to share with you is a process that we're going to be launching. It's one of my key initiatives, and it's a process that we're going to be launching next month. It's a financial planning process that's designed to better engage your clients, build more trust and rapport. It actually helps you, rather, it has the client tell you exactly what they want to buy and when. And ultimately, it helps you to create an experience with these individuals that's memorable so that it becomes a tool for you to get referred, to get introduced to other individuals, whether it's families that you can help or individuals that you can possibly recruit. The Beatles in that song, they say, we all want to change the world. I don't know about that. There are certainly a lot of things I'd like to change. But one thing I can tell you for absolute certainty is that we are changing the financial services industry in North America. The revolution has already begun. So I said I wanted to talk to you about elite advisors, and I've been so fortunate over the last 29 years to have been able to work with thousands of advisors all across the country, and now I'm so excited to be able to partner with our friends down south of the border. And one thing I've recognized is that there are 4 common traits among the elite advisors, the things that really differentiate the top of the top, the best of the best. And it's been amazing as I've been here today. Again, I've attended hundreds, thousands of conferences. Nothing ever like this. Nothing in my career has ever been anything like this. So what I've created is an acronym to help you remember what these 4 traits are so you can leave this meeting and hopefully strive for this as a goal for yourself. The first is heart, and I think we've heard everybody talk about that here over the last 2 days, haven't we? The heart, the passion, your why, your purpose for what it is that you're doing. If you don't have that, your clients, your potential recruits, they're going to see right through you. You have to be honest about what it is that you're looking to achieve and how you are honestly trying to help people. The next is educating. The top advisors that I've ever worked with in this industry, they don't sell products. Their clients are not transactions to them. It's an educational process that they guide them through so that the solution at the end, which may happen to be a product, is a product. But it's just the solution that they've come to together by educating them along the way. The next is listening. And listening is a very hard trait for us in this business because we're often A-type personalities. We're so excited to share the knowledge and the insight that we've garnered in the short time or long time that we've been in this business that we've got verbal diarrhea, and all we do is talk, 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 right? It's hard for us sometimes to just shut up and listen because if we do a good job asking great questions, the clients are going to tell you exactly what they want to buy, when they want to buy it, how they want to buy it. They're going to tell you what their fears are, their dreams, their pain, and then you can help them solve all of those problems. And then Aurelio, who just stole all my short jokes, was absolutely right. Process is absolutely key, and I think it's the one major disconnect in our industry with most advisors and agents that I've worked with in my career. They don't have a process. The process is absolutely fundamental, because how can you make sure that you're improving? How can you make sure if things don't end up the way you wanted them to, like the results weren't where you wanted, like what was the problem? How can I tweak my process to make sure that next time it's a success? Process is absolutely key. My job as your Chief Business Development Officer is to give you the tools, the resources, and the support to allow you to become elite. And I challenge you all to be elite. Why? Because there's a lot of consumer pessimism in the industry. Consumers are disillusioned with financial services. And there's a number of reasons why. I mean, do-it-yourselfers believe that they can manage their own finances. They can handle all of this on their own until they find out that they couldn't. They think it costs a lot of money to deal with us. They think that you need to be a high net worth individual in order to get financial advice. Or worst case scenario, they think you're just going to put them in the same box that you put everybody else into, selling them a $1 million T20 plan and going on your way. Or maybe they don't know all of the services that you offer. So if they don't think they need investment advice, they're not going to talk to you. If they don't think they need insurance advice, they're not going to talk to you. Trust is a big issue in this industry, which is why I really am strongly encouraging you to have open conversations, honest, transparent conversations with your clients. Accreditation, qualifications, regulatory requirements are all getting in the way of us doing business and being able to do a good job for clients. And we need to find ways to overcome that. Transparency, as I just said, is absolutely critical. In order to build trust with our clients, we need to be as transparent as possible, because otherwise they just think that you're in it to make a buck. And that's the common assumption amongst a lot of clients. Products and advice have become commoditized over the years. And why? Because at our fingertips now, we've got these cell phones that give us all the information, all of the opinions that we could possibly want. The problem is, it's so hard to decipher fact from fiction. Everybody has an opinion, right? That's why they need you. The information age is behind us because we have all the information we can ever want. And now with artificial intelligence, we've even got more. We've got computers giving us their opinions on the world today. Today it's about the experience age, and I want to tell you a story. I'm going to use, I guess, this analogy as representation of how the people's value, or how they perceive value, has kind of progressed over time. So, show of hands, how many of you, for a birthday party, bake a cake from scratch? So, maybe 3% of you, okay? So let me go back 100 years. 100 years ago, everybody baked a cake from scratch. They'd go down to the general store, they'd buy all their ingredients, and it wouldn't cost a lot of money to buy all these ingredients, and they'd whip up this cake, they'd turn down the lights, they'd put the candles in, and they'd walk in with this beautiful cake, and this was like the thing. Everybody's clapping and excited about this cake, and they can't wait to dig into it. Fast forward a few years later, you can spend a little bit of money, you can go down to the grocery store, and you can find Miss Betty Crocker, right? Throw a little water and egg together, and boom, you've got it's a good cake, right? Fast forward a few more years, and now moms are working. They don't have time to bake a cake, so what do? For a bit more money now, they're stopping at the grocery store or the bakery on the way home to buy a really nice cake. But what's happening now is it's less about the cake. More and more is becoming less about the cake. Today, how many of you have kids? So, I've got 3 kids. Actually, they're not kids. They're all adults now. My kids don't give a damn about the cake. It's about the trampoline park or laser tag, where you pay a ridiculous amount of money, plus all these stupid loot bags that you got to put together now. Who started that idea? What idiot started that idea? But now it's not about the cake. They throw the cake in. That's what they say. We're throwing the cake in. You're paying $1,500, but we'll give you a cake. Thank you very much. It's not about that anymore. It's about the experience, and that's what we need to recognize. We need to create better experiences for our clients. Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock Investments, the largest investment firm in the world with $9.4 trillion, with a T, assets under administration. He challenged Wall Street. He said, Leaders on Wall Street, you need to manage and direct your company, your organization, with a sense of purpose. He said, to prosper over time, every company must not only deliver financial performance, but also show how it makes a positive contribution to society. And Simon Sinek agreed. Shout out to my friend Tonzi for recommending this book to me. Thank you very much for that. Organizations today must have more idealistic goals. Without a sense of purpose, no company can reach its full potential. That's another reason why we introduced Sunshine yesterday. Our purpose is to empower families, to empower individuals to be better versions of themselves, whether it's empowering clients to feel confident in the financial security that we're providing to them, or whether it's empowering individuals who we bring into this business to create an incredible business with no better organization than Experior Financial. All they need is a little help from their friends. There's another Beatles reference for you, okay? You know, in preparing for this presentation, is this counting down or going up? Oh, good, I got lots of time. Okay, in preparing for this presentation, I learned that the letter X is the most powerful letter in the alphabet. It's a symbol of the unknown, whether it's in science, math. Even Malcolm X chose the letter X as a tribute to his ancestors who had to give up their identity and their names due to slavery. It's a symbol of the known. KISS, I never actually knew this until I learned this the other day. You know, the X actually represents two people kissing. You ever think about that? The letter X, obviously, it represents danger. It's in pop culture, X Factor, X-Files, Generation X, even Elon Musk has used the letter X now, Roman numerals. But I have to say, after being here for the last 2 days, for me, X marks the spot of where you need to be if you want to grow a business, if you want to help consumers, if you want to be part of a community that doesn't exist in financial services. This is where you need to be. The X Plan is the name of the process that we're going to be creating to help you better engage consumers. We're going to turn the industry upside down, and we're going to do so by being the next disruption. We are going to put the client's wants and needs at the center, at the focal point of what it is that we do. And the X Plan is a process that ensures that you create a quality experience for your clients. For clients, we're going to be client-centric. We're going to focus on their needs. We're going to educate them. In doing so, we're going to empower them, which builds trust and obviously makes you look much more professional. For you, what's in it for you? Well, creating a process is going to be marketable. It's something that we're going to be able to brand. It's going to unlock new opportunities. It's going to allow the client to tell you, as I said earlier, what it is they want to buy and when they want to buy it, which will lead to more referrals because it's going to make them feel so good, and it's going to be so easy for them to explain how you got them from A to B. And then, of course, it's going to be compliant because, well, Frank knows that's my number one goal here. We're here to solve for X. Now, what do I mean by that? We are going to create better engagements for our clients because they have instant access to information now. We need to be able to control the narrative, control the message that they're getting. We also don't appreciate the impact and the importance of fintechs, the financial technology companies, and artificial intelligence. So we need to get ahead of that as well. And we need to be concerned about increased regulatory intervention and bad press. So, one of the things, before I get into this, I learned a valuable lesson in my 50 seconds that are remaining in a sales training program many years ago, and that is, if I'm asking the same questions as my competitors, I'm not differentiating myself. So if you really want to add value, you've got to be asking different questions so that you can get different outcomes and different results. I'm going to help you by training, providing support and resources so that you feel confident and empowered yourselves in offering these services to your clients. Financial planning is a process, whether in Canada or the US. And when I say financial planning, I even mean advice giving. You need to make sure that you are ahead of the game. And one thing that I like to say is that the The biggest obstacle to great is good, so we can't settle for good. We are going to brand everything that we do specifically for Experior. Every part of the process is going to be branded as Experior because that makes it much more marketable, and as I said, it's easier for them to believe in what it is that you do. I'm hurrying right now because I've only got 15 seconds left. Oh, it's actually going up now. I guess I'm in my warning time. I don't know how much the time I have left. So for the next 5 minutes, I'm just going to talk. No, okay. Where I wanted to just finish was excellence. We all have to continually strive for excellence, and we've heard a lot of people talk about this over the last 2 days. Start with yourselves. Start by bettering yourselves. Incremental improvement, I loved what Aurelia was just talking about. Incremental improvement will lead to better results. We will strive for excellence. We are going to provide such an extraordinary experience for our clients that they're going to be singing our praises from the rooftops and asking their friends and their family members who they care about to meet with you because of the value that you brought to them. Because it all starts with an experience, and I think the experience that we offer is going to be second to none, and it's only going to get better because we are an MGA built by its agents, owned by its agents, for its agents. And I just want to thank you so much for this opportunity.
Hey, thank you so much for watching. My name is Jamie Prickett. I'm the CEO of Experior Financial Group. And if you like what you saw in that video, that was from our last convention. Well, this next convention coming up July 16th to the 18th of 2024 is going to be absolute fire. It's the Decade of Distinction. And if you haven't got tickets for it, click on the link below. Let's make it happen. We're going to change the world.